everybody. Thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. Tonight, we're joined by Orlando Magic forward, host of Judah Nation on JGN TV, and Christian minister at Jump Ministries in Orlando, Florida, Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan, welcome to the show. Really excited to talk to you. There's so much I want to cover. First off, on behalf of all the Orlando Magic fans, I know you were injured. How is your recovery going for your ACL?
First off, thank you so much for having me, Laura. This is dope. But yeah, my knee's doing great. I'm making progress every day, and I'm looking to be back here pretty soon. So all is well.
We love it. All right. Well, best of luck. I know how it is to recover from injuries. I've been injured many times, not as a professional athlete, so I'm not even going to try and compare myself. But the road is always hard. You always want to be back before you actually can come back.
Right,
so,
for sure.
But you're young, Jonathan. What are you, 24?
24 years old.
Oh my God. When I literally, I was like, in my mind, you were like closer to my age. I'm 39. And I was like, wait a minute. He's 24. It's not even close. At this point, it takes me like 5 years to recover. So you're way ahead of me. I mean, you were scouted from a very young age to potentially make the NBA. In 2016, when you were in high school, which is so crazy to me still, you were ranked number 12 overall in the country. So you had a lot of notoriety back then. Before you became a star high school player, though, was basketball something always like in the front of your mind? Was that what you wanted to do? I know that, you left early to join the NBA. You left college early to join the NBA. Did you know basketball was it like way back then or what?
I honestly didn't. Like growing up, basketball for me was just a game that I loved to play. I never in a million years saw myself like being on the screen of the guys that I was watching at the time. So watching NBA, watching college basketball, that was always like something that's like, there's no way that could ever possibly happen. So this is just something I love to do and play. And I kind of just ended up here. Like one door led to another and people kind of just pushed me through. But I never really thought that I could be in the position that I am today.
So what did you want to do? What were you interested in growing up? If you hadn't gone the route of basketball, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
Honestly, I have no idea. I think I wrote when I was a kid in like some project that I would be like a zookeeper.
Oh my gosh.
Something super weird. I never saw basketball as like a possibility of a profession. It was just so out there. So I just love to play it and kind of just went from one stage to the next. People were like, okay, you're going to play on this team and you'll go from here to here, and kind of just, ended up in the NBA.
Wow. What a dream though. Like how cool to be able to take something. I mean, it's what everybody hopes to do, right? To take something
for sure.
that you love and you can make a career out of it. Obviously, as a professional athlete, though, you can't do it forever. We all would love to think that we are able to maintain the same, mile times. I know that's for me as I could 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that we're never going to get older. But at some point, that will end for you. But you have, it seems like already a trajectory lined up. You're already a minister speaking to congregations. You've got a show, Judah Nation. I mean, what's on the horizon for you other than basketball? You have a lot going on.
I honestly have no idea. And I'm just going to continue to just like I was when I was younger. I'm just going to continue to walk it out and kind of figure out, where God leads me. But right now I'm playing ball, getting back to the court and doing some other stuff on the side. But I don't know what it's going to look like when it's all said and done.
Yeah. I mean, there's just the possibilities are kind of endless because first of all, you're young. And it seems like you're so smart. You really seem to have your head on straight, and it seems like you got your eye on the prize, to be honest with you. The fact that you really didn't even know this is the path you wanted to choose, and here you are. You chose to play for Florida State. Now I went to NC State, and we were a little bit like kind of rivals. I won't get too crazy.
we beat you the year I was there.
Oh, is that right? Oh, don't tell me about that. But you were only the second player in school history, Jonathan, to leave for the NBA draft after only 1 year. I mean, you were young. How old were you at that point?
Shoot, I think like 19.
Yeah, I mean, that's so young. At 19, by the way, I was still figuring out what I was majoring in college. I changed my mind like 10 times. But so what was it like making a decision like that and feeling confident, that you were ready to go down this path that so many people I'm sure talked to you and said you should finish school and then go to the NBA. What was it like making that decision?
It was actually the complete opposite. So like I said, I never, even when I was in college, my name was on the top 10 draft picks, NBA board for the next year coming out of my freshman year. I still was like, I don't think that I could possibly make the NBA. And so after I finished my freshman season, I'm sitting in my coach's office and he's like, dude, you're going. And I'm like, no, you just give me one more year. I can be better. I'll come back. We'll win a national championship, all that stuff. And he's like, if you do not get out of my office, I will pack your bags and
Wow.
I'll send you off to the NBA myself. So it definitely wasn't all me, just like I'm confident I can go do this. I definitely was pushed along, like I said earlier.
Wow. That's so interesting. Do you ever have moments where you feel like what would have happened? I mean, look, now you have obviously an injury. I guess the fear always, if you stay in college, is that what if something happens, right, in your college career
Right.
that would prevent you then from going on to the NBA? Do you ever have moments where you're like, I wonder what would have happened, or should I have stayed in college? Or do you feel like this was the right decision for you for sure?
No, I definitely should have left. It was definitely just fear talking. Like I just didn't think I was ready. I didn't think that I could possibly do it. But for more reasons than just on the basketball court, but being able to grow into a man and help my family and do all those things, I definitely was the time to leave. Especially with being a top 10 pick, you got to go.
Yeah, no, I don't think many people would argue with you. Now, you grew up in New York, is that right?
Bronx, New York, yes, ma'am.
Is that where all of your family still is?
So my dad is still there right now, but my parents had split up when I was like 10. And so all of my brothers, four brothers and one sister, left with my mom to Florida. And I've been in Florida ever since from 10 years old.
Oh, you got the whole crew down here. Well, look, we just keep doing interviews, Jonathan, with people that have moved down to Florida. You're one of them. I mean,
It's the hot spot.
It's a good state to be in right now. We were
For
talking
sure. I
before the
agree.
interview. It's a little cold these days. And by the way, I say that to like all of my friends that are in New York, because I moved down here from New York myself. I
Mhm.
talk to my friends up in New York right now, and they're like, the high was 18 today. So don't even talk to me. I'm like, oh, it only got to 65 here today. We're living
Right.
all right down here in Florida,
Yeah,
so
it's worth it. It's worth it.
it's
We can take a
totally
little
worth
cold for
it.
it.
Yeah, I know. It was a little cold. I love that we say that. Everybody's hating us everywhere else in the country right now. I want to talk to you a little bit about your faith, because you give your faith a lot of credit for keeping you really anchored in life. And I think anyone that has heard you speak, that has seen you on the court, etc., can really feel that coming out of you. You're a minister. You speak to congregations, as I mentioned earlier. You have a show, Judah Nation, that you host. It kind of shares who you are off the court, which I'm sure a lot of people want to learn about. But has
Mhm.
faith always been something important in your life as you pursued the NBA? Is that something you discovered along the way? How did all that work out, and why is it so important to you now? Because I hear you talk about it a lot.
Yeah, actually, no. I have I'd say like the same faith journey as most people, I would think. Like you grow up in church every Sunday and your parents are taking you there, but it's always just more so just a tradition. But
Mhm.
as I grew up and, got to basketball became my everything, as I began to just fall in love with it and play and kind of got it into the world and wanted to, be and become and do everything that everybody else was doing and kind of, get all of my desires out of the way until I got it, until I got to the NBA and I got to experience everything that I thought I wanted. I kind of found that it wasn't all that it was chopped up to be. And then I found
Interesting.
myself longing. Growing up for me was really tough. And talking to you just a little bit about like fear of like going to the next level or never wanting to like claim anything. I grew up with just a strong sense of anxiety and fear and self insecurity of trying to find my identity in things that just couldn't sustain it. So basketball, if I had a good game, if I was up, if I had a bad game, I was down.
Mhm.
People, the praise of people, but it has really been experiencing the love of God that has, helped me grow into the man that I am today. It's made me better in every way, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like God's love for me, that's just me. I don't have to be anything. I don't have to make a shot. I don't have to do anything. And it's been walking through that experience and around other people who are believers as well. So my church, my pastor, having a relationship with Christ has brought me my wife, as of today. And so it's just it does everything for me. I don't really know even how to put it into words, but it's the best thing about me. I'm a better person because of it, and I just try to lead my life God's way, and it's been working out.
It's such a beautiful thing to see, and I feel like there are so many people that aren't as out front with it as maybe you are. And I think, whenever you find yourself in a position like you're in, Jonathan, when you are a professional athlete, when you're playing in front of, millions of fans watching you all over the world play games, there's a lot of pressure on you. You're just talking about,
Yeah.
how it used to affect you so much if you would win or lose a game. The pressure and the criticisms, believe me, we understand so much about all of that. It's not easy. And when you first
Right.
experience something like that, nothing can fully prepare you for sort of the onslaught in the jarring way that you kind of feel some of that stuff. But look, this seems like it's been so helpful for you to have a relationship with God and to really have embraced that. It must help you every day deal with everything on the spectrum of that, right?
Yeah, it just puts everything into perspective.
Yeah.
Keeps, like you said, it keeps me grounded, it keeps me humble. It keeps me grateful for everything that God has blessed me with, and it's just been great. It's just been great. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep going.
Well, as you should. Good for you. Absolutely keep going. I want to talk about July of 2020. I'm sure that everybody asked you about this. You caused
Right.
quite a stir, Jonathan. You chose not to kneel for the national anthem. You were the only player to do that. And it turned into what ended up being a big deal. Now, rewind about 4 years ago, that would not have been a big deal at all because nobody would have been
Right.
talking about these things. Did you realize in the moment what that was going to turn into?
Yeah, 100%. So the night before, I was thinking about it so much. I was even on the phone with my pastor, like, yo, I know that this thing is gonna be crazy. It's gonna go wild. Just because of how polarizing everything had become at that
Yeah.
time around Black Lives Matter and George Floyd's death. And it got so polarizing to the point where in the bubble, the only way that you could show your concern or care for Black lives was to kneel and wear a t-shirt. And if you didn't, you were automatically seen as somebody who didn't care. And that was a part of why I decided to stand. I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree that wearing a t-shirt and kneeling for the national anthem was the only way to show support for Black lives. And so I decided to go with what has supported my life, and that's been the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I was like, look, I'm going to stand. I'm not going to wear that t-shirt. And when they ask me, I'm going to share what has helped me. It's been the love of God. And I believe that the love of God is the answer for not just racism, but everything that we see in the world when it comes to, interpersonal relationships. So that's how it went.
Yeah, and the interview that you did after, I guess there was like a press conference after
Mhm.
the game. There was a reporter that asked you the question about that. Why didn't you kneel? What was that all about? Why didn't you wear a t-shirt? And you were very straightforward with her. And like you said just now, you talked about your faith and you said, this is not the only way that I feel like you can show support. Just because you wear a t-shirt, just because you kneel, doesn't mean that you aren't part of trying to do the right thing or showing your support for whatever the cause might be. And she kept going. I was kind of like, when I was watching it, I was like, wow, this lady really wasn't taking your initial answer. She pushed again, right? And I was like, wow, she like really went hard there. And you were just so calm and collected in the way that you explained yourself. I was very impressed by that because it is never easy, Jonathan, to go against what those in the mainstream deem to
Right.
be the thing you have to do. Believe me, our family knows what it's like to go against the norm. You are immediately ostracized.
Right.
It took a lot of courage for you to do something like that, but you did. I really think you did what was in your heart. It was very clear watching you that you did what you felt was right. What gave you the courage and bravery to do that? And why did you feel like you had to do it? It would have been easy for you to say, behind the scenes, I don't think this I don't like get all of this, the t-shirt and the kneeling. I don't think
Yeah.
it's the right way to do it. You could have just done it and like not even dealt with it. Why'd you decide to do it though?
Yeah, I think it was just like, going back to just the polarization of the moment. Like I knew that the message that I had experienced in my life was needed at a time like this, with so much,
Yeah.
chaos and one side versus the other side, black versus white. I was like, yo, love is the answer. And in a time like this, it's time to say it. So just, I would say what gave me the bravery was that I knew that I was standing on a foundation that was sure, right? I don't just say that Jesus is the answer to sound cliche or to sound cute. Like, I've experienced this in my own life. And so I was like, I know what has helped me, and I want to give that answer along while everyone else is giving their answers, right? So,
Yeah.
the people who supported Black Lives Matter or decided to kneel, they felt comfortable and free to share that was their way of supporting the cause. And I tried to do it in that same respect, where I respect the fact that you decided to kneel. And, I would ask that you respect my decision to stand. And I gave my reason.
And that's what America's all about. Like, everyone should be comfortable to present themselves in the way they want to stand up for whatever causes they want, to kind of speak their minds whenever they feel the need. That's what this country is all about. You chose to do one thing, teammates chose to do the other. What was the reaction you got from that, from your teammates, from other people? I feel like you must have had some serious reaction from that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody didn't support it. All of the teammates didn't support it, but we all came together and had a conversation around it. And I kind of shared that same sentiment that I shared with you. Like, look, when you guys decided to kneel and we came together and said that, I didn't say anything. I didn't come against why you decided to kneel or asked you for your reasoning. I said, you know what, I respect you as a man to do what you feel is right. And in this moment, I would appreciate that same respect. So we were able to kind of just leave it at that. But it was definitely still, again, polarizing from the moment.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you know what? Kudos to you for standing up for what you believe in. And I think you probably, maybe we'll never know, but you probably gave a lot of other people courage to stand up for whatever it is in their lives that, they might not have initially had the courage to do, but to see you do something like that. And, I think about, I have 2 young kids, they're 2 and 4 years old, and to have role models out there to say, you know what, you don't have to go along with what everyone else is doing. If you feel differently, you can do whatever it is that you feel and whatever's on your heart. It's nice to know that there are great role models out there like you, for my kids to look up to, and for so many people across the country, all over the world, to look up to. I just tend to think, with all of this, we should all be coming together on whatever it is. At the end of the day, we're all Americans. At the end of the day, I always feel like we have more alike and in common than we do different. And so for me, I just feel like to have people that are able to share both sides of things out there, it's a great thing to see. So on behalf of a lot of people who were really impressed with you taking a stand for what you believe in and explaining it the way you did, thank you for doing that. We are though, and you talk about this, we're in a really polarized time in America, and this is such a great country. It's not perfect, but it is the greatest country in the entire world, and I think we're getting better at everything every day. And I ask everyone when they come on the show, so I'll ask you, Jonathan, what do you think is the best part of America, and what do you think is the biggest threat to the future of our country?
I would say the best part of America is what it was based on. The values that founded this country, to me, are God, freedom, equality, people being able to get out there and do what it is that they want to do and come from all different walks of life and be able to kind of live towards that American dream. And I love that it's the values, because just like people, we have values that we aspire to always act out, but it's difficult and it's not easy. And so the same way, America isn't perfect, like you said, but that doesn't mean that the values are negative or what it was founded on is a bad thing. I think they were founded on the right things that can, continue to move us toward a prosperous society. And so, you take the bitter with the sweet. But my pastor always says that, you didn't do everything right, but you haven't done everything wrong either. And that's what I think of when I think about America, is that, there are well-intentioned people that want to move things forward. And things in the past haven't always been great, but America has done great things to bring, people from all different walks of life together. And so I would think that I would say that the biggest threat to that is getting away from those values. I think getting away from God, getting away from freedom, and equality for everybody, equality of opportunity, and things like that are important. And just the valuing ideas, I think America has been great at that as well. So I think anytime we're drifting away from those things, I think we're in the red. And you can definitely look out into the, America and start to see those things, creep their heads of trying to get away from God and getting away from the values that made this country great in the first place.
Very well said. Well, I got to tell you, for 24, you seem like someone wiser than your years. And so you're doing something right. And I got to say, it's really nice, again, to be able to look up to people like you out there for all of our future generations. I think you have a really bright future ahead of you. I mean, you're obviously so young, and I hope your NBA career lasts as long as possible. What is the average age? How long do people usually stay in the NBA? What's?
Oh man, I think I got another 15 years.
All right, we like that. That's perfect. We got Tom Brady. He's 44. Right. It sounds like he's going to come back again. So maybe there's still hope for me. Maybe my professional athletics career is still ahead of me, Jonathan. I don't know. We'll all hold our breath and see on that.
I'd have to see your jump shot.
Oh, well, I have to tell you, my dad, I say this all the time. My dad's a great basketball player. In fact, he is the all-time leading scorer in the state of North Carolina in the senior league's history. My dad's 75. All right. So I want you to know that down the road, it's not over. You don't have to stop in 15 years. It will keep going for you. It can keep going for you. But I used to go, we had a basketball hoop outside of my house in the driveway. And when I was a kid, I remember, I'm sure so many kids did this, but my dad teaching me how to do a layup, my dad teaching me free throws, all of it out there. And some of my greatest memories ever. And it's what a great game. Did you play other sports, by the way, growing up?
Not really. I played t-ball just a little bit, but other than that, no. I like to play football just like in middle school, before school, but nothing organized. Basketball was the only one.
I feel like my dad has been, obviously, my dad was a football player in high school and college and almost went pro, but had a motorcycle injury. But he has always been, he's been a huge proponent of the fact that basketball is something you can play for a long time.
Right, for sure. So
it's a good game. You picked a good one. It's something for life, and obviously you've made a great career of it. But keep up the great work. I think there's a lot to come for you. We're all going to be paying close attention. Good luck with your recovery. How much longer do you have, do you think?
I just got to leave it at soon. I'm coming along. I'm coming along well.
Okay. We won't push you.
Yeah, I appreciate it though.
Yeah. I'm the worst. Doctors will say, you need to take 3 weeks off, whatever it is. And 3 days later, I'm like, I think I'm fine to do whatever again. I'm doing well.
The thing with me though, if I say something, it's gonna.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Everywhere.
Then everybody's gonna talk about it. We won't do that to you. We won't do that to you. Well, listen, glad to have the same state in common. We're not too far away. Ma'am. Maybe I'll get up your way for a basketball game.
Game, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Would love to. Yeah, would love to see it. And good luck with everything. Good luck with the recovery. Good luck with the team. Good luck with the ministry. All of it. Again, good stuff to come. And you have a book coming out too, don't you?
I do have a book coming out. It's called Why I Stand. It's live for pre-order right now, but it won't be out officially until May.
Oh my gosh. So you just don't have a whole lot going on. It's crazy. I think I have a lot going on.
I tried to keep it under wraps just a little bit, but yeah, it's out. The pre-order is doing really, really well.
Good.
But yeah, just pushing it along. It was something I was able to get done during my rehab process. So
good for you.
It's going well.
Awesome. Well, Jonathan Isaac, thank you for joining us. Keep up the great work. We're going to be paying close attention. And we appreciate everything you had to say here today on The Right View. To everybody at home, as always, thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here next time for more of The Right View.